Thing is, it was serendipitous. In primary school, I said I want to be in wrestling. I didn't even say I want to be a wrestler. I don't think I ever wanted to be a wrestler. I was always fascinated with the creation of wrestling. I wanted to be creating it. So it was kind of like my dream job from being a child that I got to do. So weirdly, I say it was an accident, but yet I could not have designed it more perfectly, you know. My name is Steven Gauntley. I'm the promoter, owner of 1PW. I created 1PW when I was younger, and I've come out of retirement and come back to the wrestling business. When I was in my early 20s, I was in the wrestling merchandise business. My dad was also a director of the business, and one day he just came into my office and said, I don't even think the idea would have ever come to me. Like, he just came into my office and said, "I've been thinking, son, do you think you could do a wrestling show?" Yeah, and I thought about it, and yeah, I can run a wrestling company. And 7 months later, we did the first ever 1PW show. I think it was different from what everyone else did because we just had the, well, for starters, we would fly in like 15, 20 American wrestlers. So we had this like really eclectic, unique mix of talent that's never been replicated to this day, where we had the top indie names from America. We had global names like Bret the Hitman Hart. And then we had all the like Tommy Dreamer,
the innovator of violence,
Sandman, Jerry Lynn. We had all the old ECW guys, and then mixed in with trying to find some good talent in the UK. Like now there's such amazing talent, back then maybe not so. So the roster and the production, that we were in a big building, we went all out on production, and I think as well it was because I was available to the fan base. Like, it wasn't a faceless company. Everybody knew that it was me that had made the company. It was a family business. So although the shows were at this like massive scale, it wasn't a faceless company. It was something that people could connect to. So I think like the core radius of the people that were running the company and then beyond sort of spread to the fan base. I think that's probably what made us different. And so yeah, we came in and we were like the number one company, and the British wrestling business 17 years ago was very different but very similar to how it is now. So there was a lot of jealousy, there was a lot of politics. I'd not paid my dues, as they say. I'd just come in as an outsider and instantly run the biggest shows. So I wasn't prepared for the political landscape, let's say. And I did pay for that really, because it kind of ate me alive, the business did. So after I left 1PW, a couple of months after that, my dad at age 61 dropped dead of a massive heart attack, completely out of the blue. No indication that this would happen. I was just 30 years old at this point, and a very young 30 as well. My dad was my hero. He was my best friend as well. And everything that went through my childhood, he was the one constant, the one human being that I could ever depend on, that was a constant in my life. When I was going through all that stuff in my late teen years, early 20s, I think if he'd not been around then, I wouldn't have survived to even have begun this story, never mind get to this point to sit here and be blessed enough to talk to you about it. When we do the 1PW show, I've been doing a lot of prep work leading up to it, and some of the things I've been doing in the office work, it's been really emotional because I've realised this is a job my dad would have been doing. So he was really involved. Like, it was his idea to do the company. He was just like a mad dreamer, really. I got all the things that I ever think are good about me, my work ethic, some of my easygoing philosophies. They all come from him, and I respected him like no one else. After my dad passed away, and I was already filled with this like great shame because I thought I'd let all the fans down, and I met Adam, the promoter of BWR, and my relationship and friendship with him started then, and he's somebody that has been influential in changing my life for the better. That's why he will always have my loyalty and my respect. And when I met Adam, he told me, as I said earlier, he told me the story that no, I used to go to your shows when I was a teenager. They were my favourite they were what inspired me to become a wrestler, be in the wrestling business.
So my name's Adam. I've been the promoter of BWR for 6 years, and now I'm also the co-promoter of 1PW. Going to 1PW with my dad was, it was kind of like the thing that me and him bonded over the most. Like we didn't really have like football or anything like that in common, but wrestling was something that we had in common and we shared. And along with my brother, it was just like a family thing. We used to go every few months, and it was like that was it. Like we used to sit on the front row. We had the same seat every single show, and it just meant everything. It was my entire childhood in terms of wrestling. I watched American wrestling on TV, and in this country during that time, that was about it really. And then 1PW came along and put on these giant live events, and that was the first experience of live pro wrestling. And I was sat on the front row, and it felt like I was there. Rather than it being in my living room, I was there in the building, and I had these mega stars in front of me. My dad actually passed away back in 2007, which was during like the kind of as 1PW was actually ending. So it kind of mimicked the downfall of the original promotion, if you like. And I always told him, like, I remember the very first show that we sat in the ringside, and I can remember specifically saying to him, turning to him and saying, one day I'll be on the other side of that barrier. So to be able to bring that back and actually be on the other side of the barrier in that building is just amazing. It's just full circle for me, and it just kind of, it just, I can't describe it really. It's it's just so nice. Yeah, so the kind of wrestling that I've always been attracted to is kind of the more high-risk, extreme style. I was a big fan of ECW, which is where 1PW originally had its roots as well. I like to entertain the crowd. I like to thrill the crowd. Whatever names are on that card, I want to be that one name that's on everyone's lips when they leave.
Good grief!
As far as Steve Gauntley goes, he came to one of the biggest shows that BWI have ever put on. We had Pac over from the US, and we filled an entire. Basically, we turned a Sunday market into a wrestling venue in a week. We built scaffolding, we built stage, we built the light and everything. And he came to that very first show when he was looking to restart 1PW, and he was blown away. And he came to me afterwards, and we discussed. And over time, we realised just how much we had in common when it comes to both our fathers and how connected we were to wrestling. I think we share more than just it's more than just like a business sense in common. We share quite a lot of kind of philosophical kind of things in common as well. So I think that he's helped me take what is potentially a hobby career to the next level, and helped me get to the point where I can actually now make this my living. So what to expect from 1PW? It's a return to the top, really. Like my aim is to make this company the biggest wrestling company in the UK. My aim is to challenge companies like WWE and AEW. My aim is to make people in this country proud of British professional wrestling.
That's one of the best pieces of advice I ever got, is just let your shows do the talking.
Yeah.
Other promoters can say they're the best, they can say they're the biggest, they can say that they're the self-appointed arbiters of British wrestling, that they're the custodians of British wrestling. For 1PW, we let our shows do the talking.
Yeah.